Happy Wednesday, everybody. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Yeah, the humping, the day of the hump. Do the Humpty Hump. Ain't nobody humping around. No one
Here's
says
your
hump
chance.
anymore.
Do your chance at the hump.
Oh,
Do
do
me,
me,
do me,
baby.
baby.
I think it's great that in the background there was fucking Tupac.
You just dancing away.
He was part of the digital underground. Just Tupac. But they're like, no, no,
Uh,
no. I know you write well and stuff, and you're decent at lyrics. But do you have a fake nose and mustache? Then shut the fuck up, because I'm Shock G, the one who put the silk in your panties. That's one of the only lines I remember from that guy when he was in his
See,
other song.
yo, fat girl, come here. Are you
Come here, are you
ticklish?
ticklish? By the way, I think since that line was said, so many men at a bar drunk have seen a fat girl and said, "Fat girl, come here. Are you ticklish?" And it's never worked out the way for them. It worked for the Humpty guy.
So G, baby.
You ever get busy in a Burger King bathroom? No, no one wants to. No, that's the last place you want to get busy at all.
I stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin the style
Yeah,
and the image that you're used to. And he wasn't wrong. He did ruin the style and the image I was used
he
to.
does look funky, but
He
he is
does.
making money. See, so the whole world get ready for me. I gather around. I'm the new fool in town, and my sound's laid down by the underground.
And
Something
they're
on
like,
the shelf. Something on the shelf. Then let me introduce myself. My name is Humpty. He pronounced with an umpty.
I was
Like
just
in
say, how
case
do you
you
pronounce
didn't know
that?
how to pronounce it. Could I have the phonetic speaking of that word, please? It
Focus on
was
the.
like it was a spelling bee, and some Indian kid's like, Umpty, please use it in a sentence.
Here's your chance. Do your dance at the hump.
I wish that was a. I don't know every trivia question ever from Jeopardy, but it'd be great one time. It's like he once got busy in a Burger King bathroom. He's like, who is Humpty? And he's like, actually, it was Shock G. It was his real name. Humpty was alias.
We'll allow it. The judges say that's the only person anyone knows Shock G from. They're like, Tupac, you can rap. Just stay away from that bitch you're dating right now. I feel like she's going to be a real problem later in life. He's like, Jada, she seems cool.
According to a rap lyricist, Humpty, what rhymes with ticklish? What is licorice? Yeah, that doesn't rhyme at all. Good morning, V. How are you, sir? Yeah.
Speaking of music, you ever do that thing where you get a song lyric? Like somebody texts you something, like, I know, you know. And then you have a lyric stuck in your head where it's like, I know, you know, but what's the point? And I couldn't figure out what song it was coming from.
Yes.
And I was 95% convinced it was like a hard rock or a Michael Jackson. Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah. Well, Kelly Clarkson will get you sometimes.
Yeah, but you
Some
can't text
some
a girl Kelly Clarkson lyrics. She's gonna think you're gay.
well, some people wait a lifetime for a moment like that.
You pick the one song where she repeats the chorus like 9 times, and I can't think of anything else.
I just tried to make it real easy.
I was just like,
What do
fuck.
you mean? She doesn't repeat it. She says a moment like this. And then she says,
Some
some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this. That
We used
one
to have to.
special kiss.
We used to have to square dance to that fucking song.
Dude, that just really shows the age difference between you and me. You square danced in school to that song.
Mm-hmm.
My children went to school while that song. I mean, daycare when that song was on. Morning Kish. Kelly Clarkson will get you off now, not then. But no, I guess there was Kelly Clarkson and Justin Guarini, that combo from American Idol when they were the season one and two, and they made that awful movie. I guess that was the cute, fun America's Kelly Clarkson. And then she ate South Dakota, and she was a fat piece of shit for a while. And then she got Ozempic and lost all the weight, and now she does commercials for like Wayfair furniture. So I don't know what her life is.
Look, she just settle out around waiting like a kid after school. So tell me, Pat, why you never came?
I'm guessing it's a quote to the song, but if it isn't, it's just a weird question about my masturbation.
I mean, here's what I'll say about Kelly when she ate South Dakota. She still could have gotten it. Big Kelly Clarkson fan here.
No, her face. She had that. I'm going to ruin this school's
Oh
assembly face.
yeah,
I mean?
and all I could think was my dick's gonna ruin that face.
Oh, the boy. Good morning. Okay. All right. I don't
807,
know.
baby.
807 is when Bobby made Pat blush, and I didn't like that at all. But all right. Jesus.
Sorry. Kelly
Yeah.
Clarkson, big fan.
No, all right. I'm happy this is the one that we put out for public. By the way, if you thought that was tame, go watch yesterday's podcast on the Patreon. Jesus Christ. The Tuesday one, that was nuts. We actually covered a story yesterday on there. And Bobby, I know we were talking about before the show who was going to go first, but I think because we'd like people to go over there and check that out if you haven't on the Patreon yet, or if you are a Patreon member and haven't watched it yet, there was we covered a story the end of the show about Richard Dreyfuss, actor, now old ass man, who was at a screening of Jaws, and he decided to go on a big rant speech about trans people and women and just fucking go nuts to the point where nobody even stayed for them to watch Jaws. And he came out in a dress. Something I didn't really bring up too much on the show. I put it in the picture later, but because it wasn't really written too much in it, but he did come out in a dress to like taunt people, going, "See how dumb this looks." But so Bobby, you had told me before the show that you might have some more information on that. So
Oh, we had talked a little bit about the potential evolution.
yes,
And so I
just
tried
fill
right
people in. Yeah,
before the end of the show. We were joking, and somehow the Barbara Streisand came up, and it's not nose for
because
Finn.
because by the way, that was one of the things that Dreyfuss yelled about. He yelled about trans people. He yelled about the roles of women in life, and he had a lot of things to say about Barbara Streisand, which I think is just his way of yelling at Jewish people, and he just chose the one he could remember.
Well, if you're gonna pick one to yell at, she's a good target.
I don't think so, because she didn't do anything too Jewish.
No. That's
her
my point.
movies were Jewish, but
she tends to take the joke better than most. Like, if you think about when South Park made her into that robot or whatever,
yeah,
somebody asked her and she was like, "No, I found it funny." Like it was.
Yeah.
I thought it. So like, if you're gonna pick on a Jew, she doesn't wave the Zion
Now,
flag.
I don't know if 1970s Barbara Streisand would have found that funny because she was still the biggest star. But I think being out of the public eye, even though she's always been kind of there in the background, if you had to like say who's one of the best or most known singers that can act as well, you would always kind of go to her on a list when you had to.
I'd go to Kelly.
Or you would
Clarkson.
say
That's
like
what you're saying.
who's the person that what's her name, Sarah Jessica Parker's trying to be will never be because she's too ugly, and you're like, oh, Barbara Streisand, like, you know what I mean, that same kind of thing. You have a busted nose but everything else is all right, you know, that stuff. Or like, who's the person that really, who was the Yoko Ono to the Bee Gees? You're like, kind of Barbara Streisand, but not really, but kind of. It's kind of ruined it. But yeah. So I think her being brought up even in cartoon and culture like that, she was just happy to be playing along. You know what I mean? And for Cartman to say your name and go, oh no, Barbara Streisand, and just start screaming, that's fun.
So I asked AI to make Barbara Streisand the shark.
Okay.
From Jaws.
Barbara Streisand in this AI is the shark from Jaws.
Well, actually, the AI does a pretty good job of explaining what's going on, Pat. So
okay, great.
Hi there. Imagine if one day Barbara Streisand decided to take a dip into the world of cinema, not as herself, but as the infamous shark from Jaws. And yep, you heard that right. Today, I'm diving into a whimsical what-if scenario where Barbara meets Jaws, but with a musical twist. Now picture this, the opening scene. The iconic and terrifying Jaws theme starts playing. But wait, there's a twist. Instead of the ominous tones of John Williams, it's Barbara belting out a high note that sends shivers down your spine, but in a Broadway kind of way. And instead of lurking silently beneath the waves, our shark Barbara serenades unsuspecting swimmers with a medley of her greatest hits. Can you imagine the dramatic tension? A sunny beach day, everyone is enjoying the sea and sand, and then suddenly, "Don't Rain on My Parade" echoes through the water, but it's not coming from any radio.
I think you should podcast with this AI going forward, Pat. It's got good ideas.
No, but no, it doesn't. No, because at least you and I would have. First of all, good job. I appreciate that. But I thought it was going to start playing Barbara Streisand doing the Jaws thing. Instead, you just got that whimsical Harry Potter music in the background.
You would think, right? Like it would put in the minimal amount of effort, but apparently
or
AI
show
is a
us
lazy
Barbara
piece of
Streisand
shit.
be the shark. It just showed a shark and just talked about it.
Did not show Streisand once.
No.
So looks, who's the piece of shit in this story? I'm gonna say AI has little work left to do.
It's not you. You put in the you put in the most effort as someone your age who found out AI could do all the work for you that you could do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think probably I don't know if people have seen this, but it was about a year or two ago on the podcast. I went on a rant about the guy from Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard, and we got a lot of hate from young people. But you liked that clip. Our friend Andrew Glessner was on there too, and you pulled that 2-minute clip, and you did a great job yourself pulling all the pictures of characters that I said Finn Wolfhard looks like because he's so ugly, and it's a very funny clip. I just actually watched it again recently, and even when I said he kind of looks like Shelley Duvall, you had the perfect picture come up and all this stuff, and it was great. And that was you as a human doing it. And that's why I still feel humans are better than AI in that sense, because AI did the literal and said all the things you wanted to say, and then showed you the things it thought you wanted to see. But you would have had Barbara Streisand's head on a shark body, and then you've been going juju, 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 and then the driver's running away, and then we would have laughed more at that. So I think the piece of shit is AI, because AI does not know how to be a piece of shit yet. You know what I mean? It won't fully evolve. AI, even speaking English, it's like you already lost my interest. You know, like, all right, English, fuck off.
Yeah, and I don't want to expand your ideas too much, but it almost feels like AI is a woman. And it's like, no, you heard what I said, and you did it literally, but that's not what I meant when I said it. Like, I need to find a better way to communicate with you.
It's like, that's what you told me to do. You told me to put Barbara Streisand in the water. I said, well, yeah, but you didn't. Well, I named that shark Barbara Streisand. What, now you don't like how I do that? I guess I don't listen properly. All right, AI.
Seems like Iverson's still the #1 AI in my book for a while.
Always will be. There's no question. Even Denver AI is better. I mean,
yeah,
Philadelphia AI is the greatest of the AIs, but even Denver AI. And then, I mean, yeah, he went other places too. I think I think the AI right now is better than Grizzlies AI.
Yeah, but is it better than Mexican Soccer League AI?
Nothing is better than Mexican. Actually, Mexican Soccer League AI might be like the evolution of AI.
When he's broke and he's just playing indoor soccer in Mexico to afford his rent.
Well, Kish has a good defense for AI, and he's already bowing down to the overlords. He said, AI is great. Facebook posted a happy birthday to Chuck Norris and managed to use pictures of Henry Winkler. That is pretty great.
What you have to do is pound your computer on the side twice, and then it switches to Chuck Norris.
You slap it on the side, and then go correct the mundo, and then it corrects itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to correct the mundo yourself.
Can you see all
for all you young people? That was a thing. What I just said was a big thing. Now I'm even too young for that, because I watched reruns. I definitely was alive, I think, for when Happy Days was on at 8:00, but I wasn't watching Happy Days when it was on at 8:00.
I remember getting to spend the night at my cousin's, who was about 7 years older than me once when I was a kid. He was like, "Oh, Happy Days is on. We got to watch this." And I remember at like 9 years old looking at him and being like, "You're kind of a fag."
Whoa. At 9, you knew that word?
Yeah, he was 16 watching Happy Days. What are we doing?
There weren't other shows to watch. And Happy Days had babes. I mean, Joni wasn't great, but like, it was something. And Fonzie would always walk in with whatever the meal of the day was, type deal.
Okay.
Pinky Tuscadero wasn't bad.
No, she wasn't.
She went to prison in real life.
For what?
For being fucking a criminal. She played on Happy Days.
Oh, okay. All right. I can live with that.
And by the way, the name Pinky Tuscadero is a fucking one of the greatest TV names made up of all times.
What else are you going to put in there?
Stinky Appaloochie.
I mean, that would be a good name for somebody we both know.
That's a good name for even our new podcast.
Yeah. Stinky Appaloochie.
So yeah, if you want to learn more about what AI was trying to do there, go over to the Patreon, check that out, and you can watch that episode. There was a bunch of great ones yesterday. There were some wild stories from yesterday, so go check out that one there.
And
not that we're not going to bring the heat.
Yeah, we always bring the heat. But in case you haven't noticed, if you like spicier stories with a little bit more flowery language. That's on the Patreon. We try to keep it a little YouTube straight here, fellas.
And it's not
And
always
yes,
on
V.
purpose, but sometimes I'll wait till the Tuesday. Usually I just try to pull the story of the day, but sometimes when I'm pulling the stories of the day, I'll go, all right, how far can we go with this? I start to think, I try to predict. I'm like AI. I try to predict where you and I will go with it. And I'll be like, oh, there's something here. I'm like, oh, you and I will go racist here. How racist? All right, racist enough where it needs to be on. Maybe I won't do that one today because it's a Monday. But Tuesday I can do that. It's like, how trans are we going to go? Oh, the most trans? Okay, fine. Now, I think Richard Dreyfuss, we could have done on either one because that's fun. I was kind of even holding that for the next day, but I was like, and then I'm happy we did because we went a route that was good for Patreon.
Yeah, and nobody else covered that route for sure. Like, you might see other people talking about Richard Dreyfuss today. Nobody had him fighting Barbara Streisand and shoving a fire extinguisher in her mouth and shooting it.
What I saw is most people that talked about that at all focused on him wearing the dress and focused on the outrage of the people. You and I focused on what we really thought the content of the speech would be, and then also kind of were like blaming the place for hiring him. We were the only one that blamed like the Cabot Theater.
Well, I judge people by the content of their speeches, not the visual appearance or the media surroundings. What do I know? That's just what Dr. King taught me.
I hate my fucking. Sometimes my phone will just go, do you want to see an ad for like Xfinity instead of the article you wanted to read? And I'm like, no, never. And then like, now you can't just.
Hey, are you trying to do a podcast right now? We can tell because you're using a lot of the internet. You know what you like more than that? If you got Comcast, that would be awesome.
Yeah, you want
also,
Xfinity?
Pat, you said your AI. Does that make you V's future waifu? I don't know if you can see his comments.
I saw that. I could be if I know what a waifu is.
Oh, that's like your Asian girlfriend. You ever see Archer?
Yeah, I'll be if I don't think I'm nothing that he wants as an Asian girlfriend. A, I have a penis. B, I'm big. C, I'm white, but I'm not like that white face like you want. And I don't do kimonos well, but I can
do the voice.
I can do the voice, and I have no issue laying down while people eat sushi off me, as long as I can have one.
Fair enough.
I guess that's the whole thing.
I thought you were just gonna lay there while people were doing other things. I'm glad it's sushi.
Once I'm laying, you do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? I'm not a jerk. I mean, I am a waifu. I can't.
Yeah, you bought me sushi. You earned it at this point.
I don't. Sometimes the New York Post will just keep. I think they don't when they don't get enough reads on a fucking thing, they'll just do it again. They've been pushing the Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak's outrage at the guy saying to put it in the butt, whatever, for like a week now. We all saw it. We all saw the story.
Yeah.
Is that too much information, V? The man who said AI is your future waifu? That's a lot of information.
TMI stands for 3 Mile Island Pat.
Does not stand for 3 Mile Island Pat. Why would he write 3 Mile Island Pat?
Because if you got nuclear radiation, you'd puke green like the emoji.
It means tuna makes indigestion, Bobby. That's what it means.
I can't fight you because that's the same puking emoji.
Or it's what you yell to a guy who's an incel, and he's like, "What's the one thing you need?" You're like, "Tits, Mr. Incel." That's what it stands for.
You need tits, not
tits. All right. Someone else who yells tits. This is the fun story. Did you hear about Robert De Niro being outside of the courthouse for Trump, and he was out there yelling about like this, he's a criminal, this is terrible, these are the hero, and just being very obviously Biden's camp sent him out there because the Democrats really know how to get the young people, so they got Robert De Niro to be out there yelling. And if someone didn't say it's Robert De Niro and it was just you would just think it's an old man who's waiting to play chess in a park in New York yelling while people gathered around.
Was he at least doing his scenes from like And Justice for All?
No.
I'm out of order. You're out of order. The whole court's out of order.
No, he didn't have enough breath in his lungs. But anyway, if you hadn't heard about that, don't worry, because who did hear about it? Donald Trump, and he did the most Donald Trump thing ever. First of all, here is the headline: Trump mocks wacko Robert De Niro after actors Biden campaign press conference in NYC. So pathetic and sad is the quote by Trump. Okay. Donald Trump skewered Robert De Niro early Wednesday, calling the actor a wacko, which is a fun word. It really isn't used enough. Wacko is fun. Wacky is one thing. It's funny how you change that. Wacky is like fun. Wacko is your fucking nut. It's just a change from a Y to an O, but it does change everything. And then whack off is way different.
Oh, whack off's the best. That's what Trump
Whack
should
off
have done
Niro.
at Robert De Niro.
In mocking his participation in a Biden campaign press conference outside the Manhattan courthouse where the former president is being tried. Here's a Trump quote. I never knew how small, both mentally and physically, wacko former actor Robert De Niro was. Dude, he got that all in there. Wacko and then former actor, which is hilarious because he's still an actor. But Trump just told him, your job's over. You used to act. You don't act anymore. You're a small actor. You're a wacko.
He is brilliant at, like, in roast battles where you get that
Yeah.
one line in before you go into the, like, good point, you bald Irish
Yes.
fuck. Like, he's the best at nailing somebody in 5 words or less.
Yeah, Trump is the guy that
Former
if it was a
actor
roast battle, he would go, thank you, Robert DeQueero, and then go to the joke. You know what I mean? Yeah, like that thing.
You get off this podcast and call Trump's campaign right now. You need to pitch them Robert Queero because he will say it tonight.
All right, suck a Norbert De Niro. It's like, okay. And then he just moves on to his next thing. Today, De Niro, who suffers from an incurable case of Trump derangement syndrome, commonly known in the medical community as TDS. Now Trump has created a disease based on him that people get sometimes and abbreviate it for people who don't want to say it all. Was met outside the courthouse with a force far greater than the radical left. MAGA, the former president said. Dude, he should have been Hitler.
I mean,
he wouldn't have killed Jews because he knows he
rights.
wouldn't have killed Jews. If Trump was Hitler, he wouldn't have killed Jews because he understands their value to the economy. But he definitely would have wiped out a race and everybody would have been on board because he would have made it. Hitler wasn't saying anything fun.
No. He was just kind of yelling and getting people fired up. Trump was fun.
There's a bunch of Jews are more like loser. And you're like, you know what? Yeah, he is like loser. You got to kill him. Like, he would be fun.
Listen, America has a chink in its great armor. And I'm not going to point any fingers.
The New York Post. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. It's all good.
Oh, the New York Post the day before when De Niro was yelling, the headline on the actual paper was raging bullshit.
All right. Post is winning me over.
Post tries sometimes. They really do. Oh,
so De Niro showed up and was just screaming outside of his press conference?
He wasn't screaming. When I watched it, I first thought it was a plant thing by Biden's camp because a bunch of people were gathered outside of Trump's courthouse thing. And he was talking about the people that like the Michael, what's his name? The guys who like turned on all the people. No, not Michael Rappaport. Fucking the guy who used to work for Trump and it fucking turned it like stitched on and was like a fucking shithead. He was out there kind of talking about how they're the real heroes, this and that. And this one guy goes, this one guy with a red, he's the only person in the crowd with a red hat on, but it doesn't say MAGA or anything. But he's just there, has sunglasses on, and he kind of quietly says, but enough De Niro can hear him. He's like, they're traitors. And he's like, what did you say? What did you say? He goes, how are they traitors? And he's like, well, they went against him, whatever. And he's just like, oh, here's one of these guys. Oh. So I was like, oh, this feels like something that the Biden camp put out, but didn't tell De Niro. They just hired De Niro to be there, or at least did something for De Niro. Obviously, for De Niro to be there, money's not going to be the factor. It's going to be something like, we'll help pass this one bill you want. Or maybe you got in trouble for something, and we'll keep that quiet still, and we'll donate money to a thing if you do a thing and get the young kids on board. Or whatever they think De Niro's going to do. You know what?
Don't forget about that.
I'm not going to lie. My girlfriend brought up the same thing. She goes, maybe he's on the list for Epstein's. I know he's probably on a bunch of lists. De Niro, he's probably on a lot of lists. He's probably on Schindler's List.
I wish. Then we would have had to see Meet the Parents too.
Oh, yeah. Meet the Parents too with stuff.
Meet the Fockers. And you know who Mr. Focker is? Fucking Fonzie.
No better if Trump was like, meet the parents. I wish I never met you. And everyone's like, yay.
I wish your parents never met. I wish they had an abortion, even though I'm pro-life.
Your parents never met too. Robert, whose movies, artistry, and brand have gone way down in value, all in capital letters, since he entered the political arena at the request of crooked Joe Biden, looks so pathetic and sad out there. Where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? The post continued.
Damn. Quoting Simon and Garfunkel on his bitch ass.
Yeah, I don't know why you would get in a yeah, I get it. You're an actor, but you're an actor who has good writers. Like maybe De Niro should have asked Scorsese, "Can you be by my side, please, and help me because I can't verbally battle Trump. He's the best freestyler." That's like in 8 Mile when people are like, "Let's battle Eminem." It's like, don't battle Eminem. He's gonna beat you. You. This is not your place. That's
He
why
knows
people say
something
this.
about you.
The reason why Biden was never rattled in the debates is because he has dementia. So when Trump would say stuff, everyone else would take it personally, but Biden didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah,
He could just continue to say his dumb shit because he wasn't thrown off because he's already his brain throws him off more than Trump ever could.
Oh yeah, he's just cruising through the day. Biden's like a guy on an acid trip. You might affect his overall mood, but he's not going to process stimulus and response.
Like, if you ever like said something funny in work or something like that, and then people are like, "Oh, tell so and so," but you know so and so is too dumb to get the joke, and you're like, "Fuck!" And then you do tell them the joke, they don't get it, and then everyone's like, "Oh, I guess it wasn't that funny." It's like that's what Biden is when Trump is doing his thing. All of a sudden, it's like, "Oh, I guess it wasn't that big of a deal what Trump said because it didn't affect Biden." It's like, no, he's too dumb to get the thing.
To respond, yeah, he didn't process it.
But how old do you think De Niro is?
67.
No, dude, 80.
Oh God, put him down.
They broke him out at 80.
To be fair, the Republicans did the same shit.
What?
With that guy yelling at the chair.
The guy yelling at the chair?
Yeah, you know the one who would do the movie where he shot all the Asians that were on his yard?
Clint Eastwood?
Yeah. They brought Clint Eastwood to yell at a chair when Obama was running. Do you not remember this?
No, I don't remember.
I gotta find
Clint Eastwood yelled at a chair when Obama was running for president. I don't remember that at all. Hello, Terry Nee. De Niro, 80, delivered prepared remarks at the surprise Biden campaign press conference Tuesday afternoon as Trump's defense team made its closing arguments in the former president's hush money trial. Dude, this fucking thing is going nuts today. I'm sorry about this.
The Post. Too many commercials.
I don't mean to scare you. No, it's not the commercial. It's just my phone is flipping around. I don't mean to scare you. No, wait. Maybe I do mean to scare you, De Niro said into the microphone. If Trump returns to the White House, you can kiss these freedoms goodbye that we all take for granted. In elections, forget about it. That's over. That's done. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave. You know what? You know that. He will never leave. But he was in. And he did leave. So what
he already left.
He left. Like he was literally in. And then he left. Terry Nee's asking if you mean the Jennifer Flowers trial.
What is that?
That was from like Clinton, I think. But the press conference during which the Goodfellas actor called Trump 77, a clown, a grubby real estate hustler, and a tyrant, descended into chaos when supporters of the former president tried to drown out the actor with anti-Biden, anti-De Niro chants. "You're a fucking idiot," De Niro yelled at one protester who accused him of being a paid actor for the DNC and suggested the actor had unsavory ties to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
All right, so I'm not the only one.
That guy's fun. That guy is fun. And I like that De Niro, being calm, goes, "You're a fucking idiot." Like that's going to help.
Oh yeah. So
Clint Eastwood lectures empty chair. What is? I don't know about this at all.
I've got Mr. Obama sitting here, and he's. I just was going to ask him a couple questions. So, Mr. President, how do you handle promises that you made when you were running for election, and how do you handle it? I mean, what do you say to people? Do you just I know people were wondering, you don't have it. Okay. Well, I know even some of the people in your own party were very disappointed when you didn't close Gitmo. And I thought, I think closing Gitmo, why close that? We spent so much money on it. But I thought maybe it's an excuse.
Oh, God, this sucks.
What do you mean, shut up?
And I like Clint Eastwood.
Okay. I thought it was just because somebody had this stupid idea.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
They thought
It's
that was
weird.
going to go way better, huh?
I don't even know if they did, but he certainly did.
Yeah.
He was like, they're gonna love
the whole
this shit.
time.
And
Oh.
the clip at the beginning, he does go, "I'm gonna pull up this chair for President Obama to sit in," and by the end, he is screaming at the chair. But
By the way, I think V might be running for be the next Trump with his insults. This is a very good. I like this. It's a very Trump-like insult. If Obama was the guy, he called him
Oh,
"Oh bummer."
I like that. I like that. Big time.
"Oh bummer" is something that Trump definitely would have said. I kind of like "Oh bummer."
Sorry, we're talking about Bobby De Niro.
Yeah, and then following the event, Trump 2024 National Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that actors like Robert De Niro have no idea of the real problems that face his country, city and across his country are facing. And then that's basically the article. So who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it Robert De Niro for being involved in politics? You're a fucking 80-year-old, super disconnected actor, millionaire Robert De Niro. Nothing that the world is worried about right now in the landscape of politics and voting and all that. And good morning, Kevin, by the way. In that landscape affects Robert De Niro in any way, shape, or form. Robert De Niro is above the law at this time in his life. He really is. He can do anything he wants money-wise. He can leave the country whenever he wants to, like a lot of actors do. He can do whatever he would like to do and not have to really listen to anybody. Robert De Niro would have to just he'd have to be a murderer for people not to go, let it go. It's De Niro and he's 80. You know what I mean? Seriously. So for him to come out and go, oh my God, say goodbye to this and that, whatever. It's like, dude, that's politics no matter what. We don't have the freedoms that you all believe that you have. Most people don't even believe that anymore anyway. You kind of grow up with the whole like, oh, we're free. Like, if you're free, you should be allowed to do whatever the fuck you want. And that's just not how it works. It's not anarchy. You know what I mean? Like, for him to think that if I go there and I speak to people outside the courthouse, that I'm going to now like win the election, because that's got to be his thought. De Niro's got to think, if I do this, then this is over. I guess they're bringing in Mariano Rivera a little early to close this one out. And he comes out there and then someone just goes, you're a paid actor. Fuck you. And he's like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, he already loses his mind. He blows the save because it's like, now you're not cool, calm, and collective. Now they've already got you playing the game. Is it Biden? You know what, man? You want to fucking talk this shit? You don't get Robert De Niro. I hate to say it, I understand with the security and his age and all that, but you already got another 80-year-old man you're peddling out there. I would have a little respect for Joe Biden if he was standing outside that courthouse going, hey, I want to make sure this is going right. I think this is the perfect place to talk to people that are voting for Trump. You're out here supporting him. This is where I should talk to you. I shouldn't be having Robert De Niro talk for me. That shouldn't be it at all. You know, is it Trump for coming out and blasting them? Now, like a lot of people would probably say, you know, ignorance is bliss. You let it go. You don't say anything, but that's not Trump style. Fuck that. No. He's gonna go, you're starting a small fire. Well, here's my flamethrower. You know, and I can keep going farther with it and going that back and forth. Is it both these parties? Like, I was having this discussion yesterday, but like, I do miss a time when I was little. I don't remember it well, but like when people just like, you voted because you thought what you were voting was for good for the country. But then when someone did win and it was the quote unquote wrong side, it didn't split us apart, whatever. You like the guy who was running for president when he lost, he would do a concession speech and say, thank you for all my support. Thank you for this and that, whatever. But let's all support the president that's in there and make this country great. Hopefully he listens to some of the things we were fighting for. Hopefully now I'll work with Congress and then throughout Washington to get those things also on their agendas as well. And then you all came together. That's our president. There is no more our president. It's either half the country said it's not, and then whatever, and we're just this divided thing. And I think people are getting too happy with they're with rose-colored glasses. They're kind of staring at the Civil War, which is weird because I don't know how you can think that's a good time. But there are people like, well, maybe that's what we need to do: split up. Like, it's not going to go the way you think. Because then both camps are going to be like, well, now we have to build we're going to be fighting for a long time. Like, if this really became a civil war, this would become Palestine in Israel. It would become that. Fighting for lands and things for a long, we wouldn't let it go. And other people coming in would be that way. You don't want this. Can we let Donald Trump is in court for some shit. Let him handle his court things. And I would even say, if I was Biden, I'd be like, you know what? We're not attacking that part. Well, then again, that's not who he is, because he's like, he doesn't even want to debate him, doesn't want to do whatever. But like, if I was that person, I'd be like, I want you at your best, like you do like an athlete. It's like, I don't want you injured. I want you at your best when we debate and go like that, and I want the country to be able to hear what we have to say. It's like, go somewhere where you can talk for 3 hours. You want to do that, Joe? Go on Rogan and fucking talk for 4 hours. He'd have you on. It wouldn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
You get high as shit. Because you ever see when like Rogan has like a wrestler on, like especially an old one like Ric Flair, so Rogan doesn't know how to talk to him, so they make Tony Hinchcliffe sit there and kind of like interpret what an old wrestler's saying. You could do that with Tony Hinchcliffe and like Joe Biden, and have him just sit there and going, what Joe means is he pooped his pants. Like Joe Rogan's like, oh, okay, I've done that before when I was high. Monkeys, and whatever.
Ever poop your pants on purpose? Yeah.
So it's all dumb. It's all stupid. Or is it the New York Post for posting yesterday, the raging bullshit, but then today the Trump thing? I'm mad at the New York Post because they seem to be like switching who they go behind. Like I don't want them behind anyone. I want them open, but they seem to start being open, but it's too late. You know what I mean? They were very democratic, and now they're like, oh wait, that's not the fun stories. Yeah, you don't get the fun guy.
No,
you know what I mean? If you're the Post and you're this shitty paper that fucking is basically the Inquirer, you should be the biggest Trump fan of all time, because that's your headlines every day.
Yeah.
Who's the piece of shit?
So for starters, I think you might be overthinking the Civil War a little bit. I think there's one side that doesn't want anybody to have guns or weapons of any type, and then there's one side that just loves weapons. I don't think it's going to be a long battle there. I think it's going to be wrapped up pretty quick.
I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't believe that they don't want people to have guns. I know that's kind of they saying that because they think the wrong people have guns, but at the same time, when they need it, they use force a lot. You know what I mean? I think they do want guns, but they want to be able to say who, not everyone should have them. It should be so and so. They want military. They want.
Oh yeah. I just meant the other side would just kind of be like a bunch of he/she's out there screaming. You're like, oh, this is easy.
They want, as the Asians call it, martial raw. We want martial raw. We govern the people.
So do you remember the propensity of 80-year-old hippies during the Vietnam War?
If you think I know what the word propensity means, you can go fuck yourself twice.
Do you remember
you know what, Bobby? I'm anti-pensity. I'm against it 100%.
I mean, then you should vote for Biden, because pensity is just awareness. But do you remember how much?
Nice.
Do you remember how many 80-year-old hippies there were during the Vietnam War? Remember when that crying bitch came out and she was 90 and saying they pay paradise and put up a bargain? No, being politically protesting is a young person's movement. Okay, stop getting 80-year-olds to be in charge of your political movements. You nailed exactly.
Stop getting 80-year-olds in front as the president. Why was everybody 80?
That's my point. You nailed it, Pat. Who should have been out there protesting? Not Joe Biden. You already said this guy during this discussion. Tony Hinchcliffe. Why did you do not hire Tony Hinchcliffe, the world's fastest roaster as of this point? I just had to watch 19 fucking clips on Instagram about how Rogan had to call Tom Brady to get him into the roast because he's the best roaster. Get him there. And then bring Cam Patterson, Uncle Lazy, bring the crew. They're going to make a much bigger impact than the guy who goes, she was a whore. She had a big old ass.
You know they should have got, if you want to stay relevant though, and going on their card, Nikki Glaser. Because if she blew up because of the thing, you get a female who just roasted people and let her do it.
Good point.
I don't think it would have worked, but at least she could go back and forth. But here's the thing:
Trump would tough to get.
But Trump would take on that challenge. Trump would be like, "Bring them all. Bring Tom and Bert and their stupid video.
Oh yeah,
presentation."
It'd be tough to get Saint Germain to write for the Biden campaign twice. He already did it in 2020. I don't know if he's going to do it again in 2024.
See, I wouldn't. He's like, I wouldn't let Randy Moss speak. That was dumb, really dumb.
Who's this Hinchcliffe guy? Rogan makes one phone call and he gets to be at my press conference? That's Trump.
Tony Hinchcliffe, kind of gay.
He's a fag. Look at him. He only hangs out with Cam so he could say the N-word.
Uses words, big words, mostly N-words.
Speaking of N-words, Cam Patterson here. And you're like, Trump, no.
The piece of shit is every politician. Stop it. Let's just stop. Let's just give up. Let's just fucking all go to work and then fucking do other shit. No one else is in charge anymore. Fuck it. It can't get worse. Oh, we're all gonna. I think there'll be like a month of the purge, and then after that, we'll all be like, all right, back to villages. Let's do villages. I want villages, not the raping and the pillaging, but the villaging. You know what I mean? The village people of the village, not the village people like YMCA, but like the people there. There's okay. I need some stuff done for my metal. Here, go to the blacksmith. Okay, and then he gets his thing. I need to go to the fish guy, and then the guy's like, here's the one fish I caught. We all eat that. Like, let's go back to village. I mean, let's not go back to having sex with our relatives because there's no one else in the village. But the other parts are fine. Let's just not.
The other parts were decent. My only thing is, like, I hate that we all think we're on a team. Because we are on a team. It's us against the government. Like, It's not Pat, let's say you're a bleeding heart Letterman liberal, and I'm, a Proud Boy. We're not enemies of each other. Our enemies, whoever's telling us what to do. They try to take the power in exchange for freedom. We don't give up the power. We keep our freedom. Like, it's a fucking nuts that people think you said it. And I mean, we've said it since anytime we talk about politics, but the fact that it's your team versus my team is not, we're on the same team, and the people trying to take from us are the government. From the smallest level all the way down.
Aunt Tifa needs an Uncle Tifa. You know what I mean? They need someone to come together. By the way, Uncle Tifa sounds like a guy in a Medea movie. Yo, it's me, Uncle Tifa. I think that shit's crazy.
Oh, y'all done fucked up now. Uncle Tifa showed up.
Shit. Yo, look at that old ass Italian bitch. More like Robert De Niro.
Oh, Robert, you got a big old ass.
What do you got?
Would you like to continue politics? We can go international, and it does involve a bit of a civil war, or we could go Hollywood stars of yesteryear.
We kind of just covered both of those.
Yeah.
Let's go politics. We're there. Let's go.
Okay, let me pull up the other article real quick. South Korea says the North has flown balloons carrying trash over the border.
Nice.
South Korea, this is in Seoul, South Korea. North Korea flew hundreds of trash-carrying balloons towards South Korea in one of its most bizarre provocations against its rival in years, prompting the South's military to mobilize chemical and explosive response teams to recover objects and debris in different parts of the country. The ballooning campaign came as North Korean leader Kim Jong-un urged his military scientists to overcome a failed satellite launch and continue developing space-based reconnaissance capabilities, which he described as crucial for countering U.S. and South Korea military activities. In his first public comments about the launch failure, Kim also warned of unspecified stern actions against South Korea over an exercise involving 20 fighter jets near the inner Korea border, hours before North Korea's failed launch on Monday. In a speech Tuesday, Kim called the South Korean response hysterical insanity, a very dangerous provocation that cannot be ignored. Who's the piece of shit in this story, Pat? Is it South Korea for getting mad that they flew a bunch of garbage out you when you shot their rocket out of space? Is it North Korea for coming up with one of the most hilarious ways to irritate your border? Like, it'd be great if we just started flying all of our garbage to fucking Mexico. I know we do it from New York to New Jersey because it's a shit state, but... Or is it Kim Jong-un? When you go, there's going to be massive provocations. Your massive provocations just flying some garbage over the border.
Yes.
Like, it's the most white trash way to fight. We'll kick it to you first, Pat.
I'm gonna premise this with something that it reminded me of when I was in college, and we're living in the second floor of our dorms, and me and my 3 roommates, we would one day we were real high. What we would do during the day is we made our schedules a certain way. So we had classes in the morning, all 4 of us that lived there, and we set it up so when we were done, we could run to right when lunch opened at the cafeteria and go there, grab lunch to go. Good morning, Stormy. And take the lunch and bring it back with us because when we set up our schedules, because we found out on TNT at the time at a 11 o'clock in the morning was Chips, and we would watch Chips for an hour, and at 12 o'clock was Love Boat, and then at 1 o'clock was Baywatch, and that was the 3 hours that we wanted to be high and watch shows and do whatever. And we would, in between commercial breaks, we would like stare outside to see what was going out the windows, see what we were missing, the weather was. So we had to go do shit afterwards, being high as fuck and watching these corny shows. And one time we looked out the window, and down on the ground was a bunch of like trash. Like somebody must, a garbage dumpster must have opened up, like whatever. So there was we saw 2 little Mexican people walking over with little sticks, these older people, and they would poke the stick with the paper, pick it up, clean it, and walk away. So my friend who was high, my buddy Andy, goes, "Oh, I wonder if they'll just do that whenever." So when they came to walk away, he took a piece of paper and he threw it out the window. They didn't see it, and they kind of like sensed it. They turned around with the stick and they got it. So we're like, "Oh shit!" So the next day, I turn around as I'm getting ready to go off in the morning, and I see Andy with a little garbage can opening the window and starting to dump out the garbage. And I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Why walk it downstairs? That's their job. They like doing it. It's like when you're feeding ducks." I remember him saying that. It's like feeding ducks. So it's like, okay. So he would throw it out there. So doing it 2 or 3 days in a row, we kept doing that. And we were like, it was like kind of funny they were cleaning it up. But then like a couple of days later, we looked and the garbage was starting to pile up. I guess those guys had the week off, the Mexican crew that were doing the thing, and they weren't doing it. So we kind of threw it out a whole bunch out there. We kept thinking about it because we kept being high all the time. And so we get all the way over. We get to that point, whatever, we let it go. And then one day we get called down to the resident director's office. And he says, we know we were high as shit. 'Cause this was during the 10 to 11 to 1 period.
During
we were
your
too
window
high.
gap, yeah.
Right. And so he calls us down. We go down. We're pissed because we're going to miss Baywatch. And we go down there and he talks to us and he starts telling us that he knows we're throwing garbage out our windows and we have to stop or we can get written up or we can get asked to leave the dorms or this and that, whatever. And we're fighting the whole thing of like, it's not us. You can't prove it's us. That's stupid. Why would you blame us? That's dumb. And at one point, my buddy Jamie is sitting there high as shit, not saying a word. And the guy goes, "We know it's you. Literally, there's mail with all your names on it that you're throwing out that's on the ground." And my buddy just looks at him and goes, "Dude, you went through our garbage? What a loser." And that's when you told me this story about North and South Korea. That's how I feel. Right away, when South Korea is like, "I can't believe you're doing this," North Korea should have been like, "How do you know it's us?" It's like, what do you mean, how do we know it's you?
You're
It's like,
cleaning
that
up
could
our
be anybody tying balloon. Yeah, whatever. I mean, hey, it's garbage in your sky. Maybe you should clean it up. We can't help where it went. And first of all, loser, why are you going through our garbage? The piece of shit is South Korea. And I thought I'd never say that in the battle of North and South Korea. But whatever. Just send it back. It's on balloons. Turn it around, push it back. It'd be hilarious of like this volleyball back and forth. Instead of like, we're mad about it. It's on a balloon. It's already there. Just send it back over. It's not a hard thing. They didn't drop. Now, if there was like anthrax in this garbage and they're sending it over, that's a terrible thing. But if they're just sending garbage on a balloon, grow up.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It reminds me of a game I used to play where in like 4th grade, it was 2 volleyball nets intersecting and you had to throw all the garbage in your neighbor's yard. Yeah, that's just the white trash. Also, I don't know if you can see this, Pat, because you're frozen, but thank you to all the people rating us right now.
I can see the beginning of the
Mosh.
number 2 with fries there and all that stuff.
Yeah, and welcome aboard MacGyver Place. I know you're not part of the raid, but thank you. Thank you guys for joining. My piece of shit in this story, Pat, isn't going to be it is also going to be South Korea, but for different reasons. The reason is you can shoot down their launch to space, but you didn't detect the garbage coming over the border. Like, you couldn't have just shot down the balloons carrying garbage, and then that's doubly insulting to North Korea. You've not only humiliated their attack, but you've also spread garbage throughout their country. Now, some might argue all of the country is garbage, but that those people would be called Bobby Tamburo. Oh boy, we may have really lost Pat here.
No, I'm here. I thought you were continuing. It was a big pause.
No, that was it. That was my piece of shit.
Oh, you kind of did a big pause. So I'm like, all right, he's got a little more. Okay, my bad.
No,
I thought you were doing a
worries.
Shatner type thing. No. You didn't lose me more than just my face doing the like I'm doing my Asian. Oh, look at me right now. Oh, I'm so Asian. All right. Mom melts down after son snubbed at elementary school award ceremony. Single these motherfucking kids out is the quote. If mom's not happy, nobody's happy. An Atlanta helicopter mom. What does that mean? A helicopter mom. Maybe
That's
she
someone
actually
who's-
rides a helicopter, but like, no, that means something, right?
Yeah, that's like you don't allow your kids to grow up on their own. The opposite of what you had growing up. Like the response to the freedom you were given as a kid, like, what are you doing? Where are you at? I'm constantly around you 24/7. No, I'm going to do that science project for you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I didn't have help.
That's what I'm saying. The
Atlanta
opposite.
helicopter mom. Yes. An Atlanta helicopter mom proved that adage was true on Tuesday as she erupted in expletives at an elementary school award ceremony after her son was snubbed in spite of his scholastic achievements. His report card says different, spat the outraged mama bear as the school principal attempted to tame her outburst. Pull that shit up. Footage of the eye-popping exploit caught viral wildfire, gathering over 6 million TikTok views. You're gonna single these motherfucking kids out? Barked the unnamed woman whose son is said to be in first grade. By the way, that's a little young to be yelling like that.
Yeah.
Stunned parents and children were seen sitting silently in the auditorium watching on in horror. Let's go, the mom yelled to her little one as they stormed out of the ceremony. Shocked social media spectators sympathized with the woman's son, leaving comments such as, I can't imagine how humiliating that must have been for the child, and he probably felt embarrassed. And unfortunately, moms and dads who parent with extreme intensity, strict rules, and short fuses tend to impose a great deal of psychological damage on their tots. I don't like tots. I like food tots. I don't like when you call kids tots.
No.
Research, then I'm like, what should they have? Cheese on them? Anyway, research from Ohio State University published earlier this month found that harsh parenting practices lead to a higher risk of mental, behavioral, and emotional health issues in children. We have high expectations for ourselves as parents. It goes to all parenting. I don't care about parenting thing. Get back to the black lady. Then on the flip side, you're comparing yourself to other people, other families. And whether it's intended or not, she added, it's still there. Amy Chu. No, once again, I don't care. Where's the black lady? So here at the end part. The author recently revealed her remorse for openly losing her cool when the girls, now both young adults, fell short on her incredibly high standards. So basically, who's the piece of shit in the story? Is it the helicopter mom for being a helicopter mom? You know what I mean? She's someone who parents that way. It's who she is. She's passionate, whatever. If you're gonna have an assembly, and you have moms like that, you know that shit's gonna happen. They're not gonna be happy. They're gonna think their kid's supposed to be the best. It's almost like assemblies are outdated. You really shouldn't have them anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Assemblies really should be on the internet. I don't know why we're having parents go into the school. If you're at work and you're doing anything, or you're at home, they should have a camera set up so you can zoom in, or you could watch live from wherever you are and watch the kids' assembly. With this day and age of not wanting strangers in your schools with school shooters and abductions and all these things that we're fighting and protecting for, why are we letting more people go in? We don't need them there. And if they're just on Zoom, you silent it, or they're just watching through a feed and live streaming it, you can't talk. So therefore, they can't do that shit. So why even do that anyway? It's stupid. So is it the mom for being that mom the way she is? Is it the schools for having assemblies of this nature? Your little kids, is there really a purpose in doing this and saying who's the top of the class? It's little kids. That's not really going to build anything. I never thought it did in any way anyway. Even in high school and stuff, there really is no purpose to it. But even at that young age, what are you doing? You're singling out people already? What's the point in it? Is it like scientists and studiers of Ohio State University and everywhere else doing studies on helicopter moms? Go fuck yourself. Go find some. We still have AIDS sometimes. Go find that. You know what I mean?
Don't find that.
Or is it me trying to follow garbage from Korea in Robert De Niro with bad parenting? Who's a piece of shit?
The piece of shit in this story is the mom. if you care that much about your kid, you should realize it's first grade. Nothing fucking matters. Like, the only job at first grade is you don't let the kid get molested or murdered. Those are the two big things. Like, until they get to 5th grade, then you could start worrying about awards.
That's the
and
two
shit.
things, not feeding them or nothing.
That would be murdered if you starved them to death.
Oh, okay.
The two M's. It's really simple in life, Pat. I know you were a parent. You could probably understand what I'm saying here, but just you don't let them get M'd or M'd.
Don't let your kids get M&M'd.
Yeah. They are white. They are fucking bums. They did grow up
Yeah.
in a trailer with their moms. Their boy future isn't Uncle Tom.
You're gonna lose your kid in the moment. You know.
So for me, the piece of shit's the mom. It's fine to be a helicopter parent. Like, your kid's probably going to be socially awkward and no one's really going to like him. And he'll probably be 32 and consider killing himself every day because he's so alone. But there are good sides to that. Like, he'll probably have good grades and then burn out in college. That said, you should be aware enough to know that this is first grade. If you want to have a fight about being fucking, in high school, whether your kid was valedictorian or not, because some girl took all home ec classes and got straight A, then you can argue. In first grade, what are we doing here? The only thing I learned in first grade was authority was stupid because Miss Jones made me hop my bunny every day because she didn't like me because I was enthusiastic.
She made you do what?
Hop my bunny on the fence for being bad.
What's hop a bunny on a fence?
It's like how they would say you got in trouble for the day. There would be like
Oh.
E was no trouble, G was good, N was needs improvement, U was unsatisfactory. And apparently, if you make fart noises and
N?
yeah, if you make fart noises in Mrs. Jones' class, you get an N for the day. And she was one, so I don't think she was trying to say the same thing.
That's not how we got in trouble. We got in trouble. It was called groundings, and they'd write your name on the board, and then it would just say Pat. And I was on the board the whole year in like 4th grade. Remember this, Mrs. Evans, bitch. Anyway, it would say Pat, and then you'd like put a score down, like one line for one grounding. Whatever. I never had recess the entire year, and I actually owed groundings at the end of the year. Because I taught whatever. So what that was, when we went out for recess, I would have to sit on the curb and watch everyone play recess. That was my punishment.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah, it was me and 3 other kids who like were supposedly the spazzes and couldn't calm down. So you didn't let us run around and get it out. You let us sit there.
You were more
and
rambunctious.
brood, and then more rambunctious. And also, people started to know us as the ones on the board and would kind of laugh. And then for a cry for attention, you're like, oh, let's see how many times I can get my name on the board. You know what I mean? It just became, it didn't work out in the way they thought.
Yeah, similar experience. My difference was we were learning about like protests and stuff, so I would just treat her like she was the government.
Oh, nice. Mrs. Frisbee's class, I remember that they tried when that did work with me because they would have you, they had a desk outside in the hallway. And if you were bad, you had to sit in the hallway at a desk and not move from there. So people would walk by and see you like, and have to do your work in a hallway. And you felt like a leper. So you're like, all right, I don't want that. That one worked. The isolation thing, I don't like that in life, but it did work in that situation. It did make me go, okay, I can fool around, but I don't want to get the desk.
There's the line. Yeah, you found your line. I like that.
Yeah.
So who's your piece of shit, Pat?
Well, did I didn't say that?
I can tell you who's not a piece of shit. Terry Nee's 3rd grade teacher's showing him her slit as she stuffed him under her desk. Yeah, Terry says I was stuffed under my teacher's desk in 3rd grade. I could see her slit.
Yeah, but she didn't show it to him. He was creeping.
Who stuffed him there?
Well,
you think this was a self-stuffing? I think so.
No, that's usually where, like, I did that. I surprised the pregnant teacher one time, and then they said I could have like really hurt the baby. I wasn't thinking about that. I was behind the podium and hiding because she would go stand in front of this podium, and then I popped out. She's like, almost her water broke. I think it was like that was not a good move. I thought Terry was just hiding there ready to pop out. Big shit to me is the mother because of just the fact that if you're trying to prove your kid is real smart and deserves stuff, you don't want to be like the ignorant, I can't speak English mom. You can get upset and protest, but then you should be showing that you're intelligent too. You know what I mean?
That's a pretty fucking good point I didn't think about.
Yeah, like she's like, "You motherfucker, he knows shit." Well, that's not gonna. Then I'm like thinking less of the kid anyway. If anything, you start to feel bad for the kid and go, "I don't know how you're doing as well as you're doing with a mother like that." That's not gonna help that kid's self-esteem or anything. And also, it's gonna make that kid's life harder when everyone's like, "My mom said your mom ruined everything." And he's like, well, my dad used to say that too before he went out for milk. So it's like he's just going to be catching that all the time anyway. If
I
she
think-
wanted to protest but came out Trump style and had a couple fun barbs but also sounded somewhat intelligent, then people are like, oh shit, maybe she has a point, and hilarious. I hope this kid always gets, snubbed so we get to hear this happen. But she's like, motherfuckers, you don't know. Let's go, motherfucker. You draw your kid out of school. It's crazy. It didn't work out.
I think your mommy and my daddy are the same because they both called my mommy a cunt.
Oh, jeez. I think there's a thing that you have a bet with somebody that you can say that word every show we do.
Me?
Yes.
Been listening to a lot of Jim Jeffries lately. That's on me.
All right. Well, or just anyone English. We have more people overseas than we do underseas. Is that a thing?
Probably.
Usually at this point, this is stop unfrozen me right now. I have moved a couple. I notice now I'm staring, looking down at all of you or whatever. But you got another story?
I do. Let me pull it up here. This is the Hollywood shooting you were so excited to hear about.
I'm so excited.
General Hospital star Johnny
Oh
Walker.
yes, I saw that yesterday. I didn't go with it because I didn't know people would be into it. But yeah, I'm happy you pulled it.
Well, the story developed a little bit since yesterday because this one is actually General Hospital star Johnny Walker's family doesn't want his ex-fiancee Tessa Farrell speaking on his LA murder. So for those of you who don't know, the General Hospital star 37 was fatally shot while shielding a female coworker from 3 armed robbers who gunned him down over his car's catalytic converter. Johnny Walker's mother, doesn't want his ex-fiancée, Tessa Farrell, to speak out about his murder following her emotional plea claiming the pair hadn't spoken in years. In a video Tuesday, Farrell broke down in tears. I guess she wasn't happy. In a video Tuesday, Farrell broke down in tears over Wachter's death, slamming the gunman for shooting the wrong guy. Now the actor's mother, Scarlett, has given her take on Farrell's video, telling TMZ that her son's former lover is just clout chasing. Scarlett added that Farrell had not stayed in touch with her son for at least 2 to 3 years before his tragic death. She says the rest of the family has not maintained contact with Farrell either. Farrell, for her part, said she met Wachter in 2013 and the pair dated for several years before getting engaged, but they had to let each other go romantically. Seems like there was another man involved. In her tearful video, Farrell said, if the person who did this, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but you shot the wrong guy. You can get a real job. I know the job market's hard, but we're all in it together. You don't have to steal, especially take a life over it. Farrell has since created a YouTube account to which she uploaded her tearful video. Visibly distraught, she made a desperate appeal to criminals who have been at large since the shooting early Saturday in downtown Los Angeles. Farrell then made an emotional plea for changes to be made as a community regarding rising crime. These criminals can't keep being on the street and they can't keep being sent back and have no repercussions for their actions, she said. It's not okay. This can't keep happening. So many lives are being lost. Just us not being smart. We have to be smarter as a community. The actor's mother said his body will be flown to South Carolina, where his family resides. So, who is the piece of shit in this story? And clearly, I'm not stalling to give Pat time to get back in, guys. Come on, what are we talking about? Is it the criminals who, if you're stealing catalytic converters, this isn't a bank heist. You can get another catalytic converter somewhere. Just, I don't know, let it go the minute guns get drawn. Is it the mother? Like, yes, this Farrell hasn't talked to your dead son in years, but she wasn't coming out there being like, I love this man to death. He was going to be my future husband. She did calling for crime changes. Is it criminals in LA for being so bad that they're turning former fiancés of general health people into Republicans? For me, the piece of shit in this story is probably the mom. Like, yes, I get your son's dead and you're probably hurting, but do you think he would have really wanted you to not, or to yell at his ex-fiancée? Last words. Or if you're not first, you're last. Thank you. Kevin, I could see the POS being the state of California. I'm surprised Terry hasn't said Obama yet. Normally, that's a good choice here, too. But for me, it's really like, you're making, as much as you're accusing this woman of making your son's death about her, you're doing the same thing by telling her she shouldn't make it about her. It's just as crazy. We'll get Pat's piece of shit when he gets back in, but in the meantime, let me tell you what you guys should do. You should head over to the Patreon, subscribe. It's $3 a month. We got a bunch of tiers. You get all the content for $3. If you want to be more involved in the show, you want to be a guest on here, things like that, there are higher tiers there. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for free, but typically we do Tuesday and Thursday in the mornings live. Occasionally we'll mix it around. We were supposed to have Bobo last night. Turns out the Rangers were playing. I'm not saying it's his fault they lost, but they lost and he was supposed to do our show. So you guys do the math there. Pat and I have a couple of shows you could catch us together if you would like to see some live stand-up. We will be in Wethersfield, Massachusetts, or Connecticut. Wethersfield's the name of the town, though, at the new Brouhaha at the end of June. And then at the beginning of August, link will be available soon. Pat's recording his album at the Mohegan Sun. If you can't make it all the way up there, the 8th and 9th, then come see the run-through at the end of June. I've heard some of the jokes. They're going to be really strong. If you want to see me, I'll be at the Bijou Theater coming up soon. I believe that's July 20th. Do you get high when you do your stand-ups? Sometimes I do get a little high, V. Typically, I like to wait until afterwards, though. Pat, who's your piece of shit in the story?
I don't know what the story.
No,
it's
basically,
me for asking who if we get high during our stand-ups. So do you do your skits? No, he's great.
So
no, I don't get high during my stand-ups, so that ruins my ADHD. Anyway.
Well, Pat's not as a seasoned smoker as me. It's more a matter of when I stop smoking in the day. You know what I mean? Before the show. But Pat, basically, this Johnny Walker's mom came out and was like, his fiance made an emotional video. She didn't really even know him that well. Shut up. And his fiance was like, you killed the wrong guy. Why'd you shoot somebody for a catalytic converter? And criminals, we got to do something. We can't just have a revolving door system. So who's the piece of shit?
Okay. If you ever, I think you and I think the same way sometimes in things. You ever date somebody and you just started dating them, like you've gotten very close with them, but it hasn't gotten to the point where you met family or anything like that in that nature. And then you're like,
yes.
What if they died? Would I even be invited to the funeral? Like, they can look at texts and see things and see that we've been hanging together a lot and close, but no one else would know we're close. And would that now make me like maybe someone who's thought about as possibly the murderer because like, oh, you're just texting a lot. No one else knows who you are. That's a little weird. So like this woman was probably like, I want to put out a video because if not, people are going to think I didn't really love this Johnny guy and I need people to know. And the mom's like, you didn't really know. It's like, well, I saw his penis more recently than you did. So I think I'm okay with it. So who did you see him recently, Mom? No, you didn't. So why don't you make your own video and shut the fuck up? So yeah, the piece of shit in this story is the mom. Don't fucking, you lost your son. Who gives a fuck how people are remembering him? He's a soap opera star. I'm sure there's people that watch soap operas that are like making TikTok videos about how they can't watch that thing anymore because their guy's gone or whatever that is. Who gives a shit how they remember your son? Be happy they remember your son. Someone's doing an outpour. You're worth doing it for attention. Go fuck yourself. Who gives a shit? You're a shitty mom. You should be happy people care about your stupid kid. He was in a soap opera. He wasn't even a real actor.
You and I do think exactly like, because that's who my piece of shit was too. For very similar reasons. It was literally like, hey, don't make a video and make my son's death about you. Hey, TMZ, come interview me what I think about this bitch making my son's death about her. Another piece of shit honorable mention for me, though, Pat, is the person who shot somebody over a catalytic converter. It's not a bank heist.
Yeah, but that was happening a lot. Here in Connecticut, we were getting a lot of that.
Of stolen or of shot for it? Because I just thought
there was a couple people. A guy was shot in his fucking driveway.
Jesus.
Because he came out to say, hey, what are you doing? And they fucking pulled out a gun and blasted the guy and fucking killed him.
That's fucking terrible.
Over the catalytic converter. Yeah, it was getting wild here about like 6 months to a year ago.
I didn't realize they were that valuable.
Yeah, because there's that metal, I guess you can sell for other parts. And it's something different than everything else. So it became, especially with the, what's the car that everyone has now? The Kias?
Yeah.
No, seriously.
The Kia Boys.
The Kia Boys, the easiest ones to get off. Yeah.
Oh, no. The Kia Boys is they have a USB that you plug into Kia cars. and then all of a sudden you have complete control over the car.
Oh, no, that too, but they were just sawing off
The
panel
converters, that
converters
makes
on
sense.
Kias. I guess they're easier to get to. I don't know anything about that, where they are or whatever, but
And
so the piece of shit is Kia.
Kia for sure. Anybody who sells them. V, you're absolutely right. The only way you can live forever is being remembered. That's as old as Gilgamesh. Pat, you want to give him some plugs while I run to the bathroom? I did tell him about the Patreon and our shows, but you might be able to give better details.
Well, I mean, thank you guys for sitting through me freezing and all that shit, and Bobby doing the I'll do. Here's some plugs. I always love when Bobby does that. I like to go back and watch those. Those are fun. If you guys hit like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. We appreciate that as always. Also, hit share. We also ask you to do that as well. A lot of places don't do that, but we think it's fun. Because if you hit share, you put it in your Facebook, you don't have to worry about it. It's just in your fucking time feed. You don't go look at your fucking timeline. So let other people check out your news feed and see it's there. And just put like about when you share it, you don't have to write like I watch this or watch. You don't have to promote us. Literally put it. Maybe put 2 of the laughing face emojis there. Be like, oh, what's this? And they see it's a show that you watch, and then maybe they'll want to watch the show and join in. The more we grow here, the better. And we've got some great content over on the Patreon. If you want more of the shows, you can head over there. You get a Tuesday show that no one gets on the free one. You get a Thursday Thoughts show, and we do get a POS evening show on there sometimes as well. So you do get extra content besides what you get here. But if you can't do that for $3 a month, we understand. Just like, subscribe, and then share here. And we like that a lot if you would do that. I got coming up. I got a bunch of things coming up. But next week, I'm at Comic Mohegan Sun on Thursday. The following week, and then I've got a show in Derby, Connecticut at Twisted Vine on Friday. Saturday, June 8th, I'm in Boston. I forget, I think it's called like Democracy's Comedy something. I forget what it's called. I'll get the name and find that. If you're in Boston area, I'll be there. Thursday Thoughts is not the thoughts that you wrote there. That'd be more fun. Thursday Thoughts is we take the POS show like today. So let's say Bobby and I wanted to do more jokes on the North Korea or the Trump thing. We're like, we really enjoyed the Trump and Robert De Niro story. So what we do is we focus more on just that one story of the week we did and just do a stream of consciousness joke thing back and forth, making fun of that or going farther with the jokes. It's sometimes one episode was 10 minutes long, one was 40 minutes long, but it's just a bonus thing where we kind of just free thought, dig deeper into that well of the jokes we already did on one of the recent episodes stories we covered. So thank you for asking there. Yes, I got a bunch of shows coming up soon, and of course Bobby and I have that show June 28th 29th in Connecticut at the the River. It's called. It's the Brouhaha in Connecticut, and it's in Wethersfield, Connecticut. Tickets are available on comedycraftbeer.com. I'll be headlining Bobby opening. There'll be a funny comic named Mike Massaro also on the show. I'll see if Mike's available to come on here one time so he can also, you guys get to know him a little bit before the show. So, and the perfect timing there is Bobby. Bobby, I'm still seeing I'm having a little bit of lag and stupidness, so we'll probably just do one more story and get the fuck out of here.
Okay, that works for me.
Cool.
I see a question about Thursday Thoughts.
I already did the whole thing.
Oh no, I was with THOTS. Like I thought we were having.
Yep, I brought that up part first, and I addressed that's not what it is, and then I went into explaining what it was.
Sorry, I just took a shit so big. I feel like a better human being, so I apologize.
Nicholson will never go back to Wethersfield, but if you just go to the show, you're not actually in the town of Wethersfield. You're just with us at the show.
We transport you. It's like a new galaxy, essentially. It's a Tesseract. You open the door to our show, and it just leads you to universe. Good times.
Do you know who Mark Davis is?
The name sounds familiar. Is he a golfer?
No, he's the owner of the Raiders.
Okay.
Have you heard anything about him recently? I'm basically on Twitter.
No, I haven't seen anything about Mark Davis.
Well, there was a big story out there that he's an older man, and he was dating this younger woman, and there's talks that she might be pregnant with his child. That was a whole thing that came out, and that became started this whole back and forth thing. But Hayden Hopkins reveals truth about pregnancy after Raiders owner Mark Davis rumored to be the father. Oops, that's what they wrote first in the past. That's the first thing written in the New York Post. Oops. Dov Kleiman was wrong again. Kleiman, a much derided NFL news aggregator on X, so not even like a reporter, aggregator. I guess he's just a dickhead on there. Posted on Monday night that the Raiders owner Mark Davis and dancer and choreographer Hayden Hopkins are expecting a child together after much internet chatter. Except it wasn't true. Hopkins quickly dispelled the rumor, and Kleiman subsequently deleted his post from X. Reports of Mark Davis being the father of my child are wildly untrue, she wrote on X. I was pictured sitting next to him at a game in 2022 and have endured false rumors of a romantic relationship since. I was just a guest sitting in the owner's box with other friends. These continued media stories are negatively affecting what should be my happiest days. Joey and I are excited to welcome our baby into the fall. Hopkins announced her pregnancy 4 weeks ago on her Instagram, which sparked plenty of comments about the baby potentially being Davis's. Davis is a 26-year-old, dancer and model, and then Mark Davis is an old ass fucking man who looks kind of like you remember the show Coach?
Yes, I was just thinking that.
And the guy Dauber, the one that sounds like Patrick from SpongeBob, that guy, the same haircut as that guy, like that Dutch boy haircut, but he's an adult.
He also looks like if Biff had a little bit more financially stable future.
Right. He looks like if Down syndrome came with a bowl haircut. But haha MD, or is that part there? Hopkins has performed for Cirque du Soleil and in 2022 shot down rumors that she was dating Davis after the two were pictured together. Haha MD is a legend. He's my neighbor, friend, fun game, Hopkins wrote on Instagram in 2022. She was spotted sitting next to Davis during that game in 2022, and then people just started saying, oh, they must be fucking because they're sitting in seats together at a game. Davis is 69 years old, 69, and Hopkins is 26, which sparked much of the intrigue. Congrats! 26-year-old Hayden Hopkins, girlfriend of Raiders owner Mark Davis, is pregnant, Kleiman wrote on Monday. Happy for the power couple. Yes, Kleiman even got Davis's age wrong. I mean, he's off by a year, so who cares? Kleiman did not issue a retraction nor a clarification as of Monday night. He just deleted the post. Kleiman is in his early 30s and lives in Israel. Previously worked for Bro Bible, a sports blog founded in 2009. They parted ways in November. He's received ample blowback for taking reporters' reports out of context and reproducing them for social media engagement. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Is it the guy, Kleiman, for being an agitator and putting up things? Isn't that what everyone does on social media now? You kind of put something up for clickbait. Hell, we got screamed at on YouTube last week for putting up
just by doing that.
That one thing with a picture of Shane Gillis and writing, a title that got some people to click to think that they're going to find out something they didn't, and they got super mad. But we got you to watch. And we did kind of talk about it. It was just not what you thought it was going to be. Shit happens. You're going to be okay. You know what I mean? That happens all the time. And, is it really his fault? If he is from Israel and he's getting these reports and he's like, maybe English isn't his first language, maybe the interpretation is different and he's not misunderstanding things. Now, he should not misunderstand that someone's not dating someone. But when they said he did, a lot of other times he would change the article and stuff, he's also writing it. I know it's for everyone, but he's probably writing it for people in Israel who probably don't follow football too much. It's kind of weird that the guy from Israel is covering Bro Bible and all that kind of shit. I mean, they're pro Bible, but they're not pro Bible. Hey, but
first half anyway.
Right. Is it the girl Hayden for being like, all right, enough of this shit. I'm not dating him. I'm dating another guy, whatever. Hey, dummy, I get it. You think you're doing well with your Cirque du Soleil and your fucking, your choreography and you're being a cheerleader. Man, if you really put it out there that this is that and did some good shit, that kid would be paid for life and you'd never have to work again. You're a hot 26-year-old lady. He's Mark Davis. He owns the fucking Raiders. And he owns all other things too. You could have got a lot of money for never touching that guy ever. Just going, you want these rumors to go away? Because if not, I'll lean into them. I got no problem doing that. I can do that at all. So she's the piece of shit for not being a piece of shit, I guess. Is it her? Is it Mark Davis himself? He should have come out and said, whenever anyone's sitting next to me, they got a chance of getting pregnant.
Yeah.
Boom. And then just walked away like that. And he's like, oh, you think it works that fast? If it worked that fast, I would try to get the Raiders pregnant so we can win a fucking Super Bowl. I can't get anything going that fast. It takes me forever. I'm 69, bitch. Or is it Twitter or X or whatever you call it for giving a shit? If at this day and age, and I see a tweet that says, oh, 69-year-old rich guy banged young lady who dances around for money, I'm not like, oh my God, I need to know about this. I'm like, all right, next. That's what it is all the time. That's what America is. Old things shoving their thing into young things. Repeat. That's all it is. Who's the piece of shit?
The guy from Israel that keeps covering the NFL and made this a story. Like, what was the point in bringing this to light? You were trying to get him in trouble. To be honest with you, Pat, I think he is the father, and everything you said is
Ryman?
Mark
Oh, Mark
Davis.
Davis. Well,
I
no,
think
she said this guy Joey is.
Right. I think everything you said to a T is exactly what happened. She hit him up and was like, "You want this to go away? Give me some money." And he was like, "Yep, here's your script. Name some guy named Joey." Like I 100% think there's a good chance he is the father, that they were dating, and this is how they cover it up. Like, but why is the guy from Israel putting it out there? That's not your business. Who you're fucking is not your business. If it was the
Well,
quarterback of the team and he was banging like an 18-year-old or something where it was borderline problematic, then yeah, okay, I get it. It affects football. Who the rich guy's banging doesn't affect anybody.
it does. Because I know we're thinking just the football team, but he also owns the cheerleaders and everything else. And if she is now on the team because she bangs him, and or getting more influence or more things, or getting to sit in the box because she bangs him, and everyone else who's a cheerleader doesn't get that, it does employee to owner thing can be an issue. So in any regard, you know what I mean. And also you gotta be worried about your owner of your team when you're a giant, publicly traded place like that. When they are dipping their fingers, if you will, into the money or the pool. You know what I mean? You really shouldn't be banging the employees. You can get any other young lady you want. I think that the piece of shit is this guy that wrote it, but not for the reason you said, because not that he does any investigative stuff, he jumps on everything. But if you can't find more than one picture of them sitting together from 2022, one, like you don't think they were in California at one point, and now they're in Las Vegas. There's plenty of paparazzis and cameras going around. You can't find one more picture of a hot chick with an old ass man with a dopey haircut anywhere. Yeah, they're obviously not dating. And if you're gonna say, oh, maybe they just hooked up that one time, it was 2022. She wouldn't be 4 months pregnant. So it's like, what? Find me one more picture. Or if you're gonna do it, go. If you're gonna fucking be grimy, go all the way grimy. Get AI to make you one where it's got a shark's body and Mark Davis's head, and then she's got like a mermaid leg or something like that. Then it'd be more fun. But he's a piece of shit for not even going harder into it and embellishing it. Maybe like not only saying congrats to them, sending them a baby shower gift or something, or even going crazier with it. He just kind of went there. I don't think Mark Davis is polarizing enough. Now, this was Mark Cuban or something like that, then people would care more. But who gives a fuck who the owner of the fucking Las Vegas Raiders are?
Especially they're not good.
Yeah.
As long as he's not getting
she's good.
jerked off at a massage parlor, then people aren't going to give a shit, Robert Kraft.
Yeah, Robert Kraft. Yeah, if he got someone pregnant, you'd be like, whoa, he got off the table? Who'd he get pregnant? That 48-year-old Asian lady who weirdly kind of half-ass jerks him off?
Yeah, exactly.
And then Tom Brady walks over and goes, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. She's not pregnant. Don't fucking talk about that. It's fucking Robert Kraft. I'll defend him forever. Oh, you want to shit on my wife and kids? Go ahead.
Yeah, don't shit on daddy.
Yeah, don't shit on Robert Kraft. Oh, my kids are dumb and my wife fucked a karate guy? Go all day on that. Oh, Gronk, my best friend who's loyal, call him retarded nonstop for no reason. Oh, Robert Kraft, that old fucking racist slave owner? Fucking, yeah. Leave him alone. That's my daddy.
He chose Belichick over me. Now shut up about daddy.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah, he told Bledsoe to eat a dick, and then I ate his dick. There you go. I went up to him one day and said, I'm the best decision you ever made. And then Robert Kraft said, yes, you are. Now bend the fuck over, Tom Brady. I'm taking this snap. And then that's what happened there. But don't you make fun of him. That's my guy.
Now, what if he came out and was like, I am the father of Ghislaine's kid?
Yeah, it was just Lane till I jizzed in there, and now it's Jizz Lane.
Exactly. Isn't that her name?
No. She's
What's her name?
Giselle.
Giselle.
Like it's the lady with Jeffrey Epstein.
Ah, boy, they both fuck kids.
Isn't she Giselle Bündchen or something like that? Bündchen.
Gazelle bunches or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Gazelle
Piece
bunches.
of shit.
That's what they call it. Like a flock, they're called bunches. There's like there's a bunches of gazelles running over there.
There's a
And
bunch.
a model.
She kind of looks like one too.
Bunches of gazelles. Bobby, I think we're done. I think
I think we
did it.
done
I
did
want
it
to thank
today.
everybody who came over. All our regular casting crew. Fun to have V back. Good to see Kevin, Terry Nee, Ola, Keish, all those guys, Stormy, all the fun folks, everybody that's there. We appreciate you,
Big
all the people
Blaze.
that came and run over. We do this again. Our Thursday Thought Show will be out tomorrow, sometime during the day. We didn't, we did not do the addresses today. We didn't do the POS yesterday. Things just came up. We may do one this week, evening one, but probably more than likely wait till next week. I think the POS show, more likely going forward, is going to be a show when we have a guest or something to do. Because if not, we're already doing a show during the day. And we're kind of just rehashing this thing and just talking for no reason. We don't really do guests on here too much anymore. Sometimes we do, but I think it'll be fun when we do guests to do that as the evening one because they're more available and that makes it kind of a little more special. But yeah, so we'll try to do them when we can, but I don't know if it's going to be every day all the time as well. Now I'm starting to fucking freeze again anyway. But anyway, before we can get out of there, so go check out again the Patreon if you're not there yet to get the Thursday thoughts so we can do a deep dive on something. Or we'll see you on Friday morning, 8 a.m. for another morning of POS Mornings right here. If you haven't liked, subscribed yet, please do so.
I couldn't agree with you more. Make sure you get your
Good.
tickets to all of our shows. And if you can't join them, beat them. And don't be a piece of shit.
And send your trash.